welcome back to Little Miss Drop Stitch. Today is an exciting one. I'm going to be talking all things Yarndale. I went, it was my first time, very excited to talk about it with you and all those kind of niggling questions that you've got in your head but you don't know where to find the answers. It's all going to be here for you today. If you want to see my slightly massive Yarndale haul, then that's the previous video and I will put those links below. Because I like to cover all bases, there is also a blog post to do with this video, which again will be linked below, and that's all the pictures you can have a nosy at and live your next trip vicariously. Well, what is Yarndale? It's a wool show, festival, whatever you want to call it. It's located in West Yorkshire, but to be honest, it's kind of with the East Lancashire border in England. Forgot what country I'm from then. Yeah, so I'm in the northwest of England, but it's about an hour and 20-minute drive away. It is in the beautiful, beautiful place of Skipton, which is actually my favourite place in the whole wide world. There's canals and sheep, and yeah, it's just absolutely beautiful. And the point of Yarndale, and that's why Skipton's such a good location for it, is to promote British and Irish wool as well. So proper wool, you know, ensuring that farmers get a fair price for the fleece and that we can kind of, you know, keep going and reignite the importance of wool so we can keep that dying industry alive. And I don't know about you, but the first thing I think of when I think of up Yorkshire is sheep, so that's why it's the perfect location. It's actually, this show is actually in a cattle market, and Mum will probably mention this for the next 10 years. She came with me, she cannot quite believe I took her to a cattle market. So let me explain kind of any preconceived ideas about that. So it's at the cattle market. There's no poo, I can assure you that. So the stalls are actually in the pens, without the front, obviously. Yeah, the ground is concrete. It's a little uneven in places, and like, you know, when you go like that and there's a bit of a drop that you didn't expect, despite there being signs, still didn't expect it. So it is like that. Yeah, it's Loos. We'll maybe mention those in a little while as well, all those burning questions about the Loos. But yes, it is in a cattle market. There's a bit where there's talks, like lecture theatre talks, which is actually, and we picked a bit of it, it's the show ring, and then the tiered seating is where you'd and buy your sheep. Bit of an interesting fact, and I've seen this lady and her sheepdogs on various programmes on television. The world's most expensive sheepdog was sold at Skipton auction market for £18,000, so a very good boy, I hope. Usually with my travel review videos, and we've been to lots of places by now, I'll have a chat with you, and then decide at the end if and kind of when I go again. But I'll spoil it now, 100% Skipton, Yarndale, I would go again. I've got a lot of things to say for in my life, so it would be in a few years. But yes, I would 100% go again. It was a brilliant day. I was bloody exhausted. Me and Mum went to bed at 8:30 the night we got back for Yarndale, and I was wiped out for a good couple of days after. Yes, lots to see and experience, and that's why I wanted to go, not necessarily to shop, contrary to popular belief if you see my haul, but I wanted to kind of learn about new vendors, new patterns, products, types of wool, which I thoroughly did. First thing I'll mention, and I feel like everything I'll probably like, the best thing about Yarndale is, but this really is the best thing, there are live animals at Yarndale. What other wool show would you get? Sheep and alpacas, and every so often you just hear this "meow," like meow. It's really cool and cute. And what my mum would be burning to know, yes, there is hand gel. If you like my mum, she's like, hand gel, Rachel, as soon as I'd stroke them. But yes, they're in the pens. You can't go in the pens, but there are kind of the bars, if you want to call them that, and you can give them a tickle through there. So yeah, there was a few sheep pens and some rare breed sheeps as well, rare breed sheep, and then a couple of alpacas as well, who were just adorable. And I was like looking him in the eye and stroking his little chin, and then I had to remember that they spit, so What others might not touch on, but it is important, and I know it will be on a few of your minds, is the accessibility of Yarndale, and this covers a few different areas. In terms of crowds, it's a ticketed event and it was sold out, so they are quite good at, even though there's a lot of people, limiting the numbers to a sensible amount. So I can confirm there were people in mobility scooters, people with prams, and they could get, you know, around and about. Some stalls are quite small, which like I couldn't even get in. But yeah, other stalls, you'd be okay meandering around, and certainly through kind of up and down the gangways, if we're feeling parity, corridors, whatever you want to call them, between the stalls, or as we know it, pens. As mentioned before, the ground is a bit uneven in places, so yeah, if you're not steady on your feet, just to bear that in mind. Yes, there are plenty, which is really good, of resting spaces, which is like kind of a bit of a reserve pen with seats, and yeah, there's more than enough seating spaces, and one of our friends stayed in there for a bit if you're feeling kind of overwhelmed with the crowds or just want a little rest. Me and Mum took advantage of them as well at one point. Final thing to mention on accessibility, I did see 3 assistance dogs, and I mentioned this because, well, in the UK, under the Equality Act of 2010, assistance dogs are legally allowed into most places without boring you all to death, and Yarndale will be one of them anyway. I'm not sure how kind of suitable the environment was for assistance dog, and that's not really for me to comment on. However, yeah, basically what I took from that is they didn't make it difficult for people to attend with an assistance dog, which I know some places can. I saw a guide dog for an owner who had hearing and sight loss, a hearing dog had the little jacket on, and a canine partner's dog as well. If you've heard of Yarndale before, the first thing I think of, I don't know about you, is the decorations. So there's those sheep, and they make a different one every year, and it's like kind of on a wooden board, and you'll see the pictures on the website and probably in the thumbnail, and each year there's a different one, so it's got kind of like crocheted or knitted bits on, and then the head, we'll call them sculptures. Yeah, so there was all them, and that's good to have a picture with. And then there is just, and I'm not exaggerating when I say miles of handmade crochet, like granny triangle bunting, and there's just like a meadow wall, which I think a lot of people donate, Make a Flower donate it as well. So yeah, there's lots of nice things to have pictures with as well, which you don't get at kind of other more commercialised craft shows that I've been to. So yeah, and I think a lot of the decorations were made by the Skipton Knitters Society, I want to say. It's on the website anyway, with a special shout out to them, and they did have a little stand as well. So yeah, the decorations are beautiful, and I don't want to sound cheese, but it does feel like Yarndale is kind of a home, and really like everyone has things in common, whereas kind of the more the commercialised, like I said, craft shows I've been to, yeah, it can feel you're just there to hand your money over, which, you know, no complaints, but yeah, it feels homely and like a family, and like people have things in common, which they do. We are really getting down to all your burning questions at Little Miss Dropstitch today, and the next segment I'm going to call Do I Need My Big Coat? And you know, this is something you think about when you go anywhere. You don't want too many layers and to be, you know, lathered, to be hot. You don't want too little and to be freezing. So it's at the end of September, and in grand, you know, north of England style, it was glorious sun queuing up to go in, and when we came out it was pouring down with rain, and that actually caused our transport to be a bit later as well. But there we go, that's up north for you. In terms of at the venue, as you know by now, it's a cattle market. It is, me and Mum were like, is there sides on the building? We didn't know. Yes, there are sides all the way around, but it can be a little chilly because it is, you know, a big airy space. I had a vest top, because I hadn't at that point got my winter thermals out of hibernation. So I've got a vest top and a polo neck jumper over the top, a thick one. I was fine and happy with that, and I had jeans on. Mum had a body warmer on. She said she got cold, but that was more on her legs, and because she got like trainer socks on. So yeah, I'd suggest kind of very comfortable shoes. We did 6,500 steps at least, because at the start Mum was like, no, we won't do many steps, won't be getting my steps in today. But yeah, so do wear comfortable shoes, and yeah, try and cover your, not to sound Victorian, try and cover your ankles and legs yeah, I wouldn't be wearing kind of leggings because I probably would get chilly then. My friend Jackie had kind of a felt coat on and she said she was fine, so it's one of them. It's down to the individual, but yeah, you don't need too many layers, but still make sure you're not bare, especially on those ankles because you will feel the chill. If you're in any doubt, then there is an Oxfam stand kind of cloakroom, but I'm just too tight to pay to pack my coats for the day. But yeah, that you can always leave your bits and bobs there as well. Another thing that you kind of only think of the night before and wish you knew the answer to, the food. So the very kind of okay with it, you can take your own food and sandwiches, which we did, but we did get hot drinks. They did have decaf, if that's one of your burning questions. Mum got a decaf tea, I got hot chocolate, and then I got us a little snack between us because of the price, which I'll tell you about in a minute. I said, you know, sorry Mum, we're sharing. A point to note, between 12 till about 2, it was absolutely chocker if you were buying food. You will probably have to sit on tables with other people as well, just to be mindful of that. But yeah, absolute loads of queues for kind of like the cafe stall, if you want to call it that. There was a Thai food stall, a cafe food stall, and a crepe stand as well. So we went for our brew then at like 2 o'clock and it was fine. The queue moved very quickly. I will say that the queues move quickly even if it is long, but I've just been doing some heavy shopping. I ain't standing in a queue with my bags. At the cafe stand, I noted bacon bams were £5, and this is in 2024. Prices, they had lots of sandwiches, teas, I'm sure they were about £2.50, as was the hot chocolate, I'm pretty sure. And then the snacks, so I got us a Millionaire shortbread. I mean, it was quite a hunky piece, but that was £3. They were individually wrapped and they did other shortbreads and other bits and bobs as well. Excuse me. The crepe stand, as crepes always are wherever you go, extortionate. They were £6.50 for one topping, and then they went like all the way up to £9.50. And when you're at a wool show, I was like, I would totally, you know, that is a ball of wool, I'm not paying that. Let's have a chat about what we are all here for, and it is the crafts. There was, and I was really impressed, a variety of crafts. So I took my mum, so I've got an itchy eyebrow. I took my mum and 3 friends from Natta, and I was getting nervous because I knew, you know, the ethos was all British wool. However, my friends prefer acrylic for various reasons, and Mum, she can knit, she's not done it for years. She was just kind of coming along to hopefully get some inspiration. She loves cross stitch, you know, sometimes it shows there is that as well. So I was a bit worried it was just going to be all British wool and knitting, but not pleased to say there was a really good variety, and yeah, some stuff I didn't get just because I'm not in the space physically all the headspace to start a new craft, but I would totally, and I've got their cards, I would totally be getting that in the future. I've done a really comprehensive list of all the different things that on the website, but to name a few, there was a good balance of knitting and crochet. I'm going to run out of fingers, so I'm going to put them down. Good balance of knitting and crochet. There was plenty felting. There was yarn for, you know, blanks for dyeing your own. There was a stall to buy the dyes. Block printing, weaving and spinning. There's a picture as well on the website, a little kind of lace bobbins as well, and like the weaving and spinning you could have a go at. I believe my friend Sue did. What else? Oh yes, haberdashery, you know, ribbons, bits and bobs. There was stalls selling artworks, so like felted artworks, things like that. And I've broken down on the website kind of the different crochet knittings. Plenty of hand-dyed wool to eat your heart out, and I know we're all a beggar for a mini skein, so yeah, there was, oh yeah, to die for. Lots of mini skeins. Yeah, other crafty stalls. Oh yeah, bits. Oh yeah, a couple of stalls with hand embroidery, you know, kind of the modern, if we want to call it that. My sister-in-law does a lot of it and she's really good at it. Yeah, the hand embroidery designs. There was a stall with tapestry, their own tapestry kits. And oh yes, that's to mention there wasn't any cross stitch for Mum and my friend Jackie. For them, I know a lot of you on here are absolutely crazy about black sheep wools, and I did do a visit to there and a show and tell and review, so I'll pop the link below as well for that. So that week they were also at Exeter, which is at like 6.5 hours away, completely the furthest extent of the country you can go in the southwest. But Sarah, the owner, because I know a lot of people are crazy for her and her Facebook posts, she was here at Yarndale. I did see her, and I believe some people got pictures with her as well. Black sheep wools, in the past, if you know, you know, they kind of had a stall with two sections. One would be all packets of wool on the floor, and you would then buy the packet at a discounted price. And then the other section would be the wool and plenty of cross-stitch kits. I don't know if this is the newsstand setup or it was just for Yarndale, but there was no cross stitch or anything. There was a lot of patterns, so yeah, if you're wanting something new, there was plenty patterns. Yeah, lots of acrylic wool, and they did a small amount of the West Yorkshire Spinners sock wool, and they did the Lang as well. Any more for any more? No, I think that's black sheep wools covered. Oh yes, I did get, and it's in the whole video, the Yarndale have their own stand, and they've got their own, and they are really good quality. They've got their own totes, and West Yorkshire Spinners do a wool just for Yarndale, and you can't buy those colourways in the shops or anything. You can either get it on their website or at the show. So yes, I've got my special colourway. They got me with that one. I thought my little note paper here just said hundreds, and I was like, what is that? It says Loos. Okay. Yes, as promised, let's talk about the Portaloos. Exhibitors had their own toilets, so I expect maybe that's what's usually when you go to the auction market as a farmer. Disabled toilets, there were them indoors, but my friend said there was a massive queue. And then Portaloos, I hope you've got short knees. That's what I'll say about them. They were clean, and my mum's like, Portaloo, you know, dying inside. But yeah, they were actually really clean. Then outside, and there's lots of them as well, so you're not queuing. There's the hand washing stations with the soap, and I'll let you know because I was just putting my hands under the tap waiting for God to send the water. No, someone politely pointed out there's like a pedal. It is useful to know though for next time. And then yeah, there weren't any paper towels out when I went, so I had to sacrifice a 10-ply tissue. Something else that doesn't have a place in the video but I'll slot in, there was a singer as well at regular intervals, and she was in the eating bit, so that was a nice touch. Any more for any more? Crowd wise, I mean, my family are, famous is a strong word, but we're known for not being great in crowds. We're not claustrophobic or anything, but we just get really wound up. So I did mostly well, but then Toft Alpaca were there, and I know a lot of you fans of that. They were there, and you know, we were waiting to be served, and then these people had already pushed in front. And without exaggeration, 15 bloody minutes they were there, and we were just like, you know, any minute now. And then we were queuing like, you know, we were stuck there for the long haul. We couldn't give up. But it was almost comical because they were, you know, they picked what they wanted. And can I have a look at the court bags? And can you bring over the hand-dyed wool? And then they were just having a chat with the stall lady. It was, yeah, I think that's what more gets me rather than the crowds, is people not having necessarily the same awareness that I might have of others. Doesn't mean my awareness is perfect, but yeah, that really wound me up. And yet there's other bits where people were just kind of stood gormlessly, you know, in the middle of stalls, and if they were a smaller one, I'm thinking of the pom-pom maker stall, you know, I just kind of walked out then because you couldn't, there was the man kind of behind the counter, if you will, someone just gormlessly in the middle, and you couldn't get near, and then kind of we clocked eyes, me and the vendor, and it was just like, you know, oh well. There was one stall I went back to 3 times. The first time, you know, just to look around, but it was busy. The second, we managed to briefly ask, you know, how much they were and could you buy the patterns separately and things, but then the lady was just winding wool and talking to people, and it was still busy. That's a good point. I had to say about 3:30 onwards, and Yarndale's open till 5:30. It gets really nice and quiet actually. So yeah, if you're not great in crowds or you want to get near the stalls, because the block printing one that had loads of people near it, you could not get near. But then 3:30 onwards you could have a good rummage at the stuff. So yeah, there's really no panic or rush, particularly later on the day. Things aren't gonna all sell out, don't worry. But yeah, back to that stall I went to a couple of times. So yeah, the third time the lady was free to chat to and ask questions, because sometimes when things are in kits and whatnot you need to ask questions. Or for this one you picked what wool you wanted, so you couldn't just kind of grab it and take it to a till person. But yes, that is just me being, are we allowed to say nice on YouTube? I don't know. But yeah, it's not the crowds that bothers me, it's the lack of awareness, spatial awareness and awareness of others that bothers me. But yeah, like I've been to shows before and you're literally like sardines and practically snogging the person you're squeezing past near each other, but it wasn't like that, so I was pleased at the amount of people. Sorry, we're not a hairdressing channel. 3 more little things to mention. I know Yarndale has an international following, which is great. I don't know how big the shows are in other countries, like the US. I did hear a few American accents. So yeah, I don't know if Yarndale you feel is little, but I felt it was a good size. So yeah, I heard American voices. I did hear Irish ones as well, particularly Northern Ireland, and there were stall holders from Northern Ireland as well. So yeah, it's great that kind of people do come from miles around. Yeah, I suspect some people make a holiday of it and kind of explore Yorkshire. There is a free shuttle bus to Skipton town centre. It's about a half an hour's walk away. Or 15-minute free shuttle bus ride, but you'd have to wait for the shuttle bus. And originally my plan, then we were going to walk half an hour with all our bags to Skipton, and spend time there and walk back, and time constraints wouldn't allow me with being picked up, but I'm so glad we didn't, because yeah, we wouldn't have been in the mood. But yes, there was a shop there. I don't usually do the shout outs, but I do love them, and it's what got me into proper wool, and it's Pearl and Jane. I mention them because they usually are there every year, but they weren't this year, but the shop was still open that's actually in Skipton. So yeah, do make a holiday of it. But my mum said she'd have been fine going to Skipton, but I was jiggered. That brings me on to another point. They do run workshops, and I mention this because the amount of times I heard people say, oh, I wonder if they're free. No, they aren't free. I think on average I saw the prices about kind of £38 to 40 odd, with some at like 60, 65. If I did do one, if I'm saying it right, the entry lac little course, and that was from the Baltic Knits, and I did see pieces of work like this in Latvia. Again, there's another travel video on that, and they're just beautiful. I don't know how to do that, so, but yeah, that was fully booked. But yeah, mentally I'd have had, you can buy 2-day ticket, but then you'd have had to stay over or go there and back again, but I might be moving closer to there, so who knows in the future. But yeah, mentally I could not have done the shopping and learned a new knitting skill as well, but that's just me personally. Yeah, so some were sold out, but yes, you do have to pay for them. So yeah, do have a look at them and book them in advance. Any more for any more? Yeah, the last thing to mention is the quality brochure. So I'd been diligent, I'd printed off the brochure online, well, certain pages of it because it is quite thick. I didn't want to use all my ink, and I'd printed bits off for my friends because there's free crochet knitting patterns in it, which is brilliant. And then as we were going in, there was someone going out with these programs, and I'm like, me and mum and my each other, and we're waiting for my friends to take one to basically find out if they're going to be like, that's £5. But no, they were absolutely free, and that's also a burning question that's good to know. So yeah, take them, they are absolutely free. Yeah, the really good quality thickness, and all the show vendors are in it in alphabetical order, and it gives a synopsis and the website on it, and also yeah, the number of where they are in all the stalls, and then in list form as well, in order of kind of the rows that they're in. It's very comprehensive. Yeah, there's bits about British wool, nice read-ups, and then kind of little adverts of all the stalls as well, so you can remind yourself. I would absolutely recommend getting flyers from the stalls that you're interested in, even if you're not buying, because then you can remember what they are when you come home. And that really helped me out when I was doing the write-up as well. Thank you ever so much for watching. It's a beautiful sunny day outside, so I'm going to spend it staying inside and doing my Latvian mitten. Yeah, that's going slow but going strong. So yes, have a lovely day whatever you're doing. Please do consider giving us a like, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff, so we can continue to report on more craft shows. Thank you and take care.